second throws, and it's completed. Taylor breaks tackles, might score. 95 yards to John Taylor.
And the final conflict will take place here in the city by the bay in a historic stadium that has withstood some of Mother Nature's cruelest tricks. You are looking live at Candlestick Park, a home of champions for San Francisco's baseball giants and the football 49ers, who are seeking to become the first team to repeat as Super Bowl champions since those great Pittsburgh Steelers teams of the 70s. And here today, the Niners face their Southern California rival, the wild-card Los Angeles Rams, who are pro football's hottest roadshow. Today, it's the National Football Conference Championship, the final stop on the road to Super Bowl 24. Well, the crowd beginning to file into Candlestick. That's the scene out front. Another sellout. They expected to watch their beloved 49ers against their arch rivals from Southern California, the Los Angeles Rams. All week here in Northern California, weather has been the story. Yesterday it was raining very hard, but it cleared here this morning. Record over the last 4 playoff games, all wins by the 49ers, including that Super Bowl triumph, 114 passes without an interception. And he's matched against a red-hot quarterback, Jim Everett of the Los Angeles against Minnesota. Mike Kofer missed from the 31 and the 32-yard line. He also misfired on an extra point when the snap was a bit high.
Covered since Thursday, but at 10:30 this morning when they removed the tarp, they found out the outside of the field had fared very well, but the inside did not. The tarp had leaked. It's only a year old, but they had to go to extremes. They had to aerate the field, they had to lay down some water-absorbent type of gravel, and they had to get the water up off the field. I can tell you, on the outside, the skill guys are going to have good footing, but the big guys inside, it's going to be wet and it's going to be sloppy, and from personal experience, this field does not dry out very well. It's actually below sea level out there, and it's high tide out in the bay right about kickoff time. Over on the Rams sideline, it's Will McDonough.
Thanks, Randy, and matched up very well with Paul. Another concern of theirs is on the special team, punt returning. Last night they found out that Darrell Henry, their fine punt returner, has a bad shoulder.
Here.
You go out and you play hard, you put up the stats, you put up the number, you perform. And, you know, of course, you know, our offense is going to get it all, and the Joes and the Jerrys and the Rodgers and even John Taylor now. And, you know, it's just tough, you know. You perform and you want to be recognized, and you're not, and it can get frustrating at times, but I'll take the wins and the Super Bowls any day.
How do you get along with Eddie?
This is what really killed the Rams. Now, if we stop here, we see one, there's no rush in Montana's face. So what they're doing is they're giving this lane that he could throw it, boom, right in here to Taylor. Then, after that, they're taking bad angles and missing tackles. So when the Rams come in here today, they figure they can't let that happen.
With QuickBooks Online, you can prep and file taxes now or when you're ready. Get help with extension filing with unlimited live help from TurboTax experts, so you can prep and file taxes the right way.
Rice is flanked off to the right and comes in motion. Montana is back to throw. He looks and throws, end zone, touchdown! Touchdown! To John Taylor with 34 seconds left. A 10-yard touchdown pass to John Taylor.
Wow, how do you stop Joe Montana? Well, Will McDonough, who better to analyze this game for us than Mike Ditka, the coach of the Chicago Bears?
Well, I tell you, Brent, they're going to be ready. It's going to be a heck of a football game, and, I don't know really who has an advantage. Everybody wants to tell you that he makes their defense work, and that's what makes them come to play. When they watch Ronnie Lott play, and you watch him on TV today, you'll see the most physical football player on the 49ers team. But the Rams play physical, too.
Their locker room, the Ram defensive unit being introduced here to the sellout crowd, and then this place will explode as the 49er offense gets ready to see if they can get back to the Super Bowl, and it's beginning to look as though they will play the Denver Broncos.
Starting at left end from Angelo State, number 78, here's Holt. Starting at left end from Angelo State, number 78, here's Holt. Starting nose tackle from Penn State, number 67, Pete Kugler. Right end, Miami of Florida, number 75, Kevin Fagan. And left outside linebacker from James Madison, number 94, Charles Haley. And left inside linebacker from Penn State, number 54, Matt Millen. Right inside linebacker from the University of Oregon, number 99, Michael Walter. And right outside linebacker from Purdue, number 58, Tina Turner. And left quarterback from Weber State, number 26, Darryl Pollard. And right cornerback from Middle Tennessee State, number 29, Don Griffin. And strong safety from Texas A&M, number 31, Chet Brooks. Starting at free safety from Southern California, number 42, Ronnie Lott.
So as you could see, it was the San Francisco defense that was introduced here to this sellout crowd. Right now, Denver leading Cleveland 37-21. The winner of this game to face the Broncos in Super Bowl 24. We'll see you at halftime.
Auto insurance all seems the same until it's time to use it. With USAA, it's easy to file claims, schedule repairs, and access roadside assistance right through your app. Or you could take your chances somewhere else. Get a quote today. USAA.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I made it, not a thing. And it was kind of everything.
Stay 2 nights. Get a free night at Best Western.
Honorable and battle-tested champions who once again have fought their way to the threshold of yet another conference title. With unrelenting glee, the 49ers served notice last week that they are bound and determined to maintain their seat of power as proud and proven barons of the professional football world. Rams and 49ers lay it on the line for an NFC championship. Take part for the NFC championship match between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. It's been raining all week, but not now. The temperature is 53 degrees, wind out of the south at 12 miles an hour. And right now, the field is in pretty good shape. Good afternoon. I'm Pat Summerall here with John Madden, and many ways
New Orleans, the other team will be forgotten about.
You know, we followed the Rams, John, down through the playoffs now in Philadelphia first, and last week in New York.
Look at the 2 times they played this year in regular season. The Rams have been in there 8 times, get in their face, get in their lanes, do things so that they can't get into those rhythms. That's going to be the chess match.
And we're going to have a first look at the 49ers if they won the toss. Denver has beaten Cleveland 37-21, so the winner of this one will again play the Denver Broncos, who've been there 3 times, never won it. Mike Lansford to kick it off. Terrence Flagler and Spencer Tillman back deep for the 49ers. It's a tricky wind of 12 miles an hour, but difficult to tell down on the field which direction would be beneficial. It's going to be Flagler. And he is cut down hard. A flag on the play. Mark Messner made the tackle. Again, a penalty marker already down. Joe Montana, a fabulous year, fabulous career. He has set all kinds of records. His offensive front, Bubba Paris, McIntyre, Jesse Sapullo, Bruce Colley, Harris Barton, the right tackle, and Brent Jones at tight end. Craig and Rathbun, the 2 runners, Rice and Taylor, the dangerous wide receivers, and then they have 2 more, Wilson and Sherrard, if they use 4, which they intend to. The flag was against the 49ers, so they'll start from their own 17-yard line. Craig goes in motion. Montana will go to work early, chased out of the pocket. Complete to his tight end, Brent Jones. Stopped by Larry Kelm, gain of 7. The Ram defensive front, Miller, Wright, and Peel. 4 linebackers, Green, Kelm, Strickland, and Wilcher. And in the secondary, Gray and Irvin. On the corners, Washington and Stewart, the safety men. Henley and Alfred Jackson when they go with their nickel package. 2nd and 3 from the 24. Taylor wide right, Rice wide left, Jones in motion. Craig slipped down. Alvin Wright made sure he stayed down. No gain.
I think that's going to be a big part of this game, Pat, being able to run and not slip, because the middle of the field is very, very slippery. That's the area where the sod really hasn't taken. And you saw on Roger Craig's first cut, boom, he just took 2 divots out of there, and he couldn't make that cut back.
There are some very slippery spots on it. I was down on the field just a few minutes ago, and as you point out, in the middle, where most of the playing is done, that's the worst part. Montana back. Incomplete, intended for Roger Craig, had a hand on it and lost it when he was hit by Kevin Green.
Hey, one of the first things you start off with the Rams on defense, one of your first goals is to stop that first 49er drive. I don't think there's any team in football that's better at the first drive than the San Francisco 49ers.
That's one of those scripted things that you've heard about for so long when Bill Walsh was here, and now under George Seifert, though not to that degree, not as many plays. That's Leroy Irvin back to return Barry Helton's punt. Just got it out of there. Irvin. Midfield. Knocked backwards by Keith DeLong. A 36-yard punt. Jim.
Hey, he sure looks cool for the first play anyway, Jim Everett, huh?
He does. Pass complete. That's to Willie Anderson, the flipper. The 49er defense. Here's Hope, Pete Kugler, and Kevin Fagan in front. The four linebackers, Haley, Millen, Michael Walter, and Tina Turner. In the secondary, Pollard and Griffin in the corners, Lott, Brooks the safety. First and 10 Rams at the San Francisco 36. Greg Bell to about the 34, a gain of 2. Michael Walter made the stop.
You know, Pat, it probably doesn't mean anything, but I sure like the way that Jim Everett walked up to the line of scrimmage on that first play. It looked like John Wayne or something, the old gunslinger walking up there. And I think that it's so easy to tighten up in a big game that when you can get that type of thing, I think it's a big plus.
I was talking to him when I was down on the field. Everett, he said, "You got everything you need?" I said, "I think so." He said, "How do you feel?" I said, "I feel fine. How about you?" He said, "I feel terrific." To Henry Eller, out of bounds. A pickup of 12, stopped by Don Griffin.
Now these are the guys that can start. We talked about being a streak passer, and he has great pass protection. That's what it starts off with. Look at that pass protection. Eller just runs it out. I think the receivers are going to have an advantage all day today because of that slippery turf on the outside.
And that was Griffin that slipped that time.
And look at the protection here. See, they gave Everett the time he needed.
First and 10 Rams at the 49er 22. Everett to work again. Here comes the blitz. Successfully hurried Everett.
Distance control, more versatility around the greens, and of course, more of that signature Vokey spin. It's time to sharpen your short game.
As he tried to dump it off to Bell, Haley put on the pressure. George Seifert.
Here's a guy who has done a heck of a job with this 49er team coming in here and replacing Bill Walsh. I think he had one advantage in that he had been here a number of years and that he was a part of building this team, part of building the defense.
It'll bring up second and 10. Holohan was the motion man. Bell. Stopped by Fagan, picked up 3.
You know, here's the area that we were talking about earlier, is that red zone, and it's the area that both teams have had trouble against the other team. That 20-yard line. That 20-yard line in. In fact, I think it's ironic today, as I
point out, where they've had problems. 3rd and 7. Everett outside to Buford McGee, and McGee gets enough for a first down. Stopped by Romanowski. Inside the 10 to about the 9.5.
I tell you, I think he could have hit Ron Brown on the cross. He throws it out to McGee, but watch 89, Ron Brown coming across there. He's open too, but he threw it to the shorter guy, McGee. Then Ron Brown was right there, boom, to get the block for McGee to let him get the first down.
It's first and goal, just inside the 10. Bell was the lone setback. They start Holohan in motion. Everett. Ellert was the closest Ram, but it was nowhere close to him.
I was talking to John Robinson the other day. He told me his biggest concern in this game was not being able to move the ball, but being able to move the ball and then not getting it.
First 3 out of 5 in this drive. Second down to about the 6. Picked up 3. Matt Miller Dillon made the stop.
Now the Rams are coming in with their 4 wide receivers, so even though you're down towards the 5-yard line, this is still a passing down, and probably the toughest area to pass on the field because you only have 15 yards of depth. A good way to beat this is by using crossing pattern.
3rd and goal from the 6. 4 wide receivers. Everett just threw it away. Henry Ellard was close. The pressure was put on Everett. Michael Walter, the linebacker.
That was the thing that concerned John Robinson on both sides, not being able to get in. Michael Walter gave the blitz and the pressure on Everett, but to be honest, there was no one open in the end zone for him to throw to.
So Mike Lansford with Pete Holohan holding will try to barefoot a field goal from 23 yards out. And the Rams break on top. 9:38 left in the first quarter. It's the Rams 3, the 49ers nothing.
The Tempur-Pedic breeze makes sleep feel cool. So no more sweating all night or blasting the air conditioning, because the Tempur breeze feels up to 10 degrees cooler all night long. Tempur-Pedic ranked #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased online by J.D. Power.
Makes it 3-0. The NFC Championship game. The winner will be there. Lansford to kick it off. Flagler and Tillman deep for the 49ers. It's going to be Spencer Tillman at about the 14. Out to about the 30. 16-yard return. Graham injured on the play.
Lansford, as he kicks off, you see that plant foot slip? I think if they're going to have problems in the slip, and it's going to be in that middle area where he had it between the hash mark.
San Francisco. The ground crew, the maintenance people did before the game, that's an aerator over the NFL logo in the middle of the field. And then they put down something that looks like very thick sand, turfis, to absorb some of the moisture. 3-0. Over on the Los Angeles sideline, that's a picture of pain. 1st and 10 San Francisco at their own 30. The Rams lead it 3-0. Craig left side to the secondary. 1st down San Francisco. James Washington made the stop, a pickup of 13 for Craig.
Well, the 49ers went to 2 tight ends, only one back in the backfield. That was Roger Craig. And they ran that old counter trey that everyone's running now. Of course, when you have Craig running it, that gives you another dimension. Watch him. He's going to take a counter step to his right, let his O-guard and O-tackle get in front of him, and then high step it through the hole.
Again, 2 tight ends. This is Rathman. And he gets close to midfield. Picks up 6.
There's a guy who stays fired up, Tom Rathman. I think, that doesn't make any difference. Playing football to him is just playing. It's running, it's blocking, it's catching, it's doing all those things. And he doesn't have that big ego like he has to have the ball. He's as happy to make a block and have a Craig make a run as he is make the run himself.
2nd and 4. Rathman, the lone setback. Walls is the man in motion. Montana looking to Rice. And got him. And Rice got a 1st down. Stopped by Strickland.
This is what the 49ers want to do now. Start to get in that rhythm. That rhythm isn't all just passing. That rhythm is a mixture of run and pass. Anything to keep moving the ball up the field.
Rice came out Wilson went in to take his place. Taylor goes left, Wilson comes right.
Like Rice had something in his eye.
Yeah. Montana, again, rhythm. Caught by Brent Jones, the tight end, a fumble. And another fumble, and the Rams come up with it. Larry Kelm made the recovery.
And that's the thing that will kill rhythm, is either a good defensive play or any kind of turnover. Look at Brent Jones. Sometimes that happens, and as a coach, you hate to see it because all he's doing, Brent Jones was fighting for extra yardage. So you can't tell a guy, don't fight for extra yardage, but in doing so, more and more times you see that second guy come in and strip the ball out.
McIntyre picked the ball up after Jones lost it, and Kelm made the recovery after McIntyre lost it. Buford McGee, left side, to about the 35. Pickup of 2, stopped by King of Turner.
There's a reverse angle that last play. This is the second time in the game that Montana started on a sprint. Watch, he sprints to his right, kind of slips and falls down himself, then throws back to his tight end. And seeing it, trying to get that extra yard, that's when the ball got knocked out. You said then McIntyre, an old guard, has it. Heck, he fumbles it too.
2nd and 8 for the Rams. Their own 35-yard line. Everett Holohan into 49er territory. Brought down by Ronnie Lott and Michael Walter.
That's the guy they have to watch. That's what the 49ers were talking about in the passing game. This is the guy, Pete Holohan. Chet Brooks says they got Damone Johnson's their tight end, but when Pete Holohan comes in the game, he's the guy Jim Everett looks to.
In their first 2 meetings this year, as in almost every game we've seen, the turnovers are the determining factor. Everett, straight back.
Yeah, we can see this more and more. We talked about it last week, how Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator of the Rams, every day in practice, he just stands there with Jim Everett and says, let it go, let it go, let it go, meaning get rid of the ball. There's Ernie Zampese. He's this guy right here. I think that he is probably the top offensive brain in football today.
The amazing thing about him, about Ernie.
Did you see that? Hear that? Feel that? Is this a shooting star? Rock star? Superstar? Let's all take a deep breath, because once we peel out, there's no looking back. You ready?
He is perfectly happy where he is. He doesn't want to be a head coach.
But if I were an owner, I would hire Ernie Zampese as a head coach.
They fake the reverse to Ron Brown. They have a man wide open. Ronnie Lott, what a recovery. Willie Anderson was wide open, and Ronnie Lott came from nowhere to break it up.
And that was the guy they were trying to get, Ronnie Lott, because they were going to fake the reverse. And what they said is when they faked the reverse, Ronnie Lott and Chet Brooks would run up. We saw Chet Brooks, the strong safety, come, but they didn't fake Ronnie Lott out. And he comes all the way over from the free safety to make that play.
That's one heck of a play by Ronnie Lott. A lot of people thought he might have lost a step. But last week and this week, he's proven that he's still got whatever he had.
That was a big play. That was a play that the Rams were holding to get a touchdown with.
That was Michael Carter you just saw a minute ago, just activated. They're going to work again. For Anderson, incomplete. McIntyre was back with him.
Let's watch the play before that. Here's Ronnie Lott here. When they fake the reverse, they want him to come here. He stays back and makes the play over there. But watch what happens. You see, when they fake the reverse, they think he'll come up. Ronnie Lott didn't come back. He read past, stayed there, and made a great play.
Taylor back deep. Hatch Archer, the punter. Taylor down at the 49er 10-yard line. 4:53 left to play in the first quarter. And the Rams on top, 3-0. NFC Championship match between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers, led at the moment by the Rams. 23-yard field goal by Lansford. And the AFC Championship game won, of course, by Denver. The winner of this game will face Denver in New Orleans in 2 weeks. 4 minutes, 53 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Here's Roger Craig into the Rams secondary. Stopped by Washington, but a 49er first down.
That's the place you have to run on a wet field, is straight up. Now, you got to win that first battle. Your center against their nose tackle. You have to get that because you don't allow penetration inside. The 49er offensive line didn't allow any Ram penetration. Then Roger Craig could just come up there and pick a hole.
Roger Craig's one of those guys that we see on rare occasions who can turn it up another notch. Craig, nothing there this time, stopped by Strickland and Alvin Wright.
That's what happens when the play before you see when you get them blocked, you don't allow penetration. Then you see an example of the next one where you don't get them blocked and you let a big Alvin Wright get penetration and you let Fred Strickland get in there. Fred Strickland, the nosebacker. To come back from some life as a nosebacker.
It's a unique position.
What do you do? Oh, I'm down as a nosebacker.
Here's Montana up the middle to his tight end. Brent Jones. A gain of 12 yards. Strickland again. Here's Jerry Rice. You pointed out before, John, I don't know if he got something in his eye or got hit in the eye, but that seems to be the problem.
I know, it looks like he's having trouble with the right eye. It's still kind of squinting. And he got hit and came off and hasn't been back in since. And of course, Jerry Rice is such a big part of this 49er offense.
The doctor's going to have another look. First down, San Francisco, their own 32. Here comes the counterplay again. A couple.
We're going to have a football game here today. See what they're doing now? They're looking at Jerry Rice. I think this is a play that had happened. This was the last play he was in. See the screen, and he got it right there in the eye by Michael Stewart. Looked like a Stewart came up, hit him with that left hand. Probably a finger went through the face mask into the eye.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
Second down and 8. 49er ball, their own 35. Wilson, who has replaced Rice, split wide to the left. Jamie Williams is the man in motion. Here's the same play again. Chased down by Larry Kelm for a gain of 3. Craig, the ball carrier.
We're going to have a football game here today, Pat. I mean, you know, they can have Montana, they can have ever, but this game is going to be about linemen. This game is going to be about mud. This game is going to be about dirt. This game is going to be about championships. This team is going to be about a team going to the Super Bowl. And this is what football was supposed to be.
There's going to be a lot of stuff involved, right?
That's it. A lot of, and not only stuff, but good stuff.
Yeah. 3rd and 5. Craig is in the slot to the left. Montana gets the ball to John Taylor. James Washington made the stop. One of the rare times that Montana has gone to his left.
I know it. Well, you know what happens? We'll see Alvin Wright takes a charge here, gets penetration. Now Montana comes back and he's forced to go to, he's forced 1 to bring the ball down and then 2 to go to the left. That is what the 49ers were trying to do to him. That's what the Rams are trying to do. I mean, they're trying to get him to bring the ball down, get him to run to his left. He did both those things and still completed it.
First down. Rathman to the Ram 44. 9 yards.
The 49ers are doing what you have to do on a sloppy field. You can't make a lot of cuts. You have to have a wide base. Your runners have to have a wide base. They can't get their feet together.
And with George Seifert.
There's Fritz Shermer, the defensive coordinator of the Rams.
So that's the end of the first quarter with the score: the Rams 3, the 49ers nothing.
So if you want to see Paul McCartney and his new band, get in line early and get out your Visa card.
Second quarter coming up at Candlestick Park, the NFC Championship game, with the winner going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl to play the Denver Broncos, the AFC champions. Congratulations to them and to Dan Reeves. Candlestick Park, of course, sold out for this event. Rained all week long, and then today, just now, bright sunshine has come out. Wallace comes in at left tackle to replace Bubba Paris, and Terry Tausch goes in playing guard. 2nd and 2. That's Rathman, not backwards. Sean Miller, loss of a yard.
Well, the Rams got the penetration they needed that time by Sean Miller. You know, again, that's what it is. It's if the line can knock the defense off, then there's going to be running room. If the defense gets across the line of scrimmage, as Sean Miller did at the point of attack, there's not going to be running room.
Jerry Rice back in the game, as is Sherrard. They'll show you 4 wide receivers, all of whom are very dangerous. Montana up the middle to Rathman. And up for a first down, stopped by Kelm.
You watch what they do. They have 4 wide receivers. Now they're just going to take Rathman to fullback. He just does a check through. He checks the blitz. There's no blitz. Now he goes through. Only about 1 or 2 yards, he becomes the outlet. That's just about impossible to cover, because you have to remember, he's coming out of the backfield, and there's already 4 wide receivers out there that are running everyone deep.
1st and 10. Henderson was the man in motion. This is Craig. The Rams bottle that one up.
Yeah, you cannot run that play on this field today. And Roger Craig is going to learn it, or George Seifert's going to learn it, or Mike Holmgren. But watch what happens when you try and go wide. You try and stretch out. Now you can't cut back. You cannot turn from being perpendicular to parallel on this field today.
That's really the kind of runner, too, John, that Roger Craig is.
Yeah, but he can't do it today. He can't stretch it and turn it. He has to just turn it.
2nd and 11. Montana's already hit 6 out of 7. 7 out of 8. That one to Rice.
There's no one better at running and throwing a football than Joe Montana. Now he's running out. That's the 3rd time he's rolled out to his right today. And look at Jerry Rice. Everyone has so much respect for him going deep. Jerry Gray was thinking deep all the way in coverage, and then Jerry Rice is able just to cut it off and run that out or come back.
You got Gray turned all the way around, and then came back to Montana. A gain of 19. Break. 2 yards maybe, stopped and hit first by Washington.
One thing about this Ram defense, when you run in there, there's going to be a whole bunch of white jerseys. And as you know, the Ram defense may not be a great defense or a lot of great players, but they're a very well-coached defense by this guy with his hands on his head, Fritz Shermer, who could very well be the next coach of the Phoenix Cardinals.
He's certainly one of the leading candidates. Here's Montana back again. Open is Brent Jones. Touchdown, San Francisco. changes so quick.
Well, they had Jerry Rice on one side, John Taylor on the other side, and you get so concerned with those guys that they will leave Brent Jones go free up the middle. That's exactly what the Rams did.
That's Jones' 4th catch of the day. Mike Cofer to try the extra point. He's missed 2 in the regular season. Doesn't miss that one. 7-3, San Francisco.
Hey, Brent Jones is a tight end on the right, 84 on the right of the screen. Starts to the outside, then he's going to come back in. Montana gets back. Brent Jones is wide open again because of the concern of the outside receiver.
7-3 49ers.
This message furnished by the National Football League.
Back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. They all said they were bringing different kinds of shoes and different kinds of cleats. That's Bruce Colley.
Well, the wetter the field is, the more muddy the field is, the longer cleat you want. So as they change cleats, they will keep getting longer and longer cleats as the field gets sloppier.
Cofer's kickoff. Del Pino and Brown back deep for the Rams. That's Del Pino. To about the 23. 11-17 left to play in the first half. The 49ers 7, the Rams 3. Errol Pollard made the tackle for the 49ers. The Rams will take over. At Summerall, John Madden, 23 yards out by Lansford. And the 49ers in at nose tackle for the 49ers. He's been out since week 8.
Well, he had it wasn't a broken right foot, it was a sprained right foot, and it was in a cast until this past week. Since that 8th week, they had that right foot casted, took it out this week. It's only worked out a couple of days.
Everett's going to put it up. Incomplete. Henry Eller, the intended receiver. The 49ers have had the ball twice as long as the Rams here in the first half. And they lead 7-3.
Hey, one thing with Michael Carter being out that long and being that big and that strong, he is not going to have a lot of endurance, so they're going to spot him, a play here and a play there, and George Seifert said maybe 10 plays at the most.
And his place is taken by Kugler, who started. 2nd and 10 Rams. Buford McGee. Knocked out of bounds by Keena Turner and Ronnie Lott.
I'll tell you one thing about Ronnie Lott. If he's going to run all the way across the field and get you on the sideline, he's going to bring the full load. He doesn't come across here and pursue and get all the way over there and then just bring a quarter or half a load. When he gets there, watch at 42, he's going to unload that whole thing he brought.
He's sort of the catalyst, the leader of an underrated 49er defense.
You're one of the top guys who has ever played that position.
On 3rd down, Everett swings it out to McGee again. McGee will get a Ram first down. Stopped by Eric Wright. Gain of 9. Here's a guy who's been really playing well, especially in the playoffs.
And I think that because of that, he's playing more and more. They used to put Robert Del Pino in on passing downs. Now Del Pino's a little nicked up, so they're leaving Buford McGee in. So we've always known that, that he's a real good blocker, does all those tough things, but now they're throwing to him more and more.
He's caught 3 today. Greg Bell hit right at the line of scrimmage. He might have gotten a yard.
Hey, Pete Kugler played that one perfectly, Pat. Watch him, he's right there over the center. Now what you do is, boom, you take that guy on and then just ride down the line of scrimmage. Don't let him knock you back. You see how he takes on Smith, gets his hands on him, starts to ride right, pushes Smith off, and then whap, he's right there for the cutback.
2nd and 9. In the tricky part of the field. Holohan in motion. The rush is on Everett. The pass is to Ellard. Incomplete. Don Griffin, the defender.
Here's a guy who's becoming one of the best cover guys in this league. Don Griffin. You don't hear a lot about him, although he's in the Pro Bowl now. But that is great coverage. He's on him all the way, gets that left hand in there, and knocks it away.
That's textbook. 3rd and 9.
One, being able to get on him and stay with him, and then 2, being able to finish it off with a knockdown.
Picked off by Tim McKyer. Ellard knocked him out of bounds. McKyer came up with a deflection.
I think it was Don Griffin, the first place. Griffin again was there on the coverage. He knocked it out, then it went up to McKyer. We were just talking about Griffin being one of the best cover guys. You watch your Everett's throwing it out there. Watch it right there, 29. Griffin hits it up, and then McKyer is coming back, and he ends up with the interception.
Having access to a live person is so critical. There are so many resources between blogs and videos and all of these people who say they're an expert, but the fact that the QuickBooks Live experts actually have the capability to dial in and guide you, they're humans. You get a straight answer.
Learn more about QuickBooks and Live experts.
Pass was intended for Henry Ellard. It was Duval Love that knocked McKyer out of bounds.
Tim McKyer had a big interception last week in the playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings.
1st and 10 from the Ram 27 for the 49ers, trying to add to their lead. Craig. Not much room. Sean Smith took him down.
As you say, last year the word was you take away Rice and you take away Craig. And everyone tried to do it last year and couldn't do it. So now you have an offense, and that's a problem. Who do you take away?
A lot of weapons. Outside quickly to Rathman. Out of bounds by James Washington at about the 20.
James Washington is a guy who has a lot of pressure on today because Vince Newsom is a regular free safety. Vince Newsom was injured last week against the Giants, and John Washington had to start as a free safety. The big play here, one, you have to cover that guy, and then getting Rathman down like that in the open field, that's good tackling.
First game he's ever started. 3rd and 2. Craig to about the 5, maybe inside. Stopped again by Washington. 15 yards.
That was one of those passes, Pat, where they took away the lane, made Montana bring the ball down, but in doing so, all he did is find his secondary receiver, and when that's Roger Craig, that's a pretty good play in itself. They took away the lane. He was trying to go to the left. He was trying to go deep. It made him bring the ball down like they wanted to defensively, but then he brought it back up again to hit Roger Craig.
First and goal from the 4 with 7:58 left to play in the first half. And the 49ers leading 7-3. Two tight ends. Craig again. To about the 2. Stopped by Kelman Owens.
The way he runs in there, let's just watch this on the clicker, the way he cheats back a little. You see in the stance, he's back. So Craig is going to run it. Rathman's going to block it. Watch, he gets that thing there. Right there's the block. He knows he's going to run off that block. Rathman turns him out. Boom, he's going to cut right back off that thing.
Second and goal from the one. Burning again. 49er touchdown.
Football. You just take that ball and ram it in there in the right side behind your guard and tackle. Look, no penetration. They knocked the whole pile, the whole thing back into red.
Helton will hold Gopher for the extra point. Good. Set up by the turnover. Almost inevitable. Bray gets the touchdown, and it's 14-3, 49ers. They took him inside for x-rays. I assume that was what the problem would be.
That's one of the big advantages of football as we know it today, that a guy could get injured. They could take him in, get an x-ray right now, look at it, and then determine whether the guy could play or not anymore.
Del Pino and Brown back deep for the Rams. This is Brown. Through the 30. Knocked out of bounds by Darryl Pollard again. It's 14-3.
Three definitely becomes a crowd.
Music Park in San Francisco as seen from the Goodyear blimp. Columbia, based in Carson, California, piloted today by John Creighton. Hovering overhead.
A lot of traffic up there, Pat. I saw a helicopter go by and a blimp and an airplane. You got...
And a couple of birds.
A lot of aircraft up there.
Everett. To Greg Bell. Bell still on his feet to about the 47-yard line before Ronnie Lott finally got him down after a pickup of 19 yards.
Greg Bell is one of those guys that is built for this type of field because there's not a lot of them to hit. And most of the stuff that he has to hit has pads on it. And he just kind of pulls all those pads together and you hit plastic against plastic, and unless you wrap up, you tend to bounce off them.
Everett back on first down. Quick pass ends up right. Intercepted by Keena Turner. A fumble by Turner, and I think the Rams might have gotten it back. Yes, sir.
I know John Robinson is rooting for him to get it back, and they did.
With the Wells Fargo Active Cash credit card, earn unlimited 2% cash back on purchases you want, like dance lessons. And on what you need, like memory foam inserts. That's real life ready. Visit wellsfargo.com/activecash. Terms apply.
That even brought a smile because when you're down 14-3, you can't give them the ball here again because they can put you away on this one. The defense is throwing Everett's timing off. They're getting him out of sync. You see him, he had a pump to the thing. Now he came back to his secondary receiver, and there were 3 red jerseys around his secondary receiver. Of course, luckily for the Rams, Keena Turner fumbled that.
And Newberry made the recovery.
John Robinson, he'll not only coach it for you, he'll officiate it for you.
Jerry Markbright is the referee today.
Sure won't play it for you. But you see again, Turner, that ball just slipped out as he was jumping over. Keena Turner went to jump over and the ball slipped out.
Newberry made the recovery.
they did is a replay took a look at that play, and then, of course, it stays as stands. It was a fumble and a recovery.
Hill. Through about the 45, 5-yard gain, stopped by Kevin Fagan and Jim Burton.
Yeah, we were talking earlier how Jim Everett is a streak passer. I think he started out on a streak, and he started out with confidence. And I think his streak has left him, and along with his streak, his confidence is gone. So now within this thing, he has to get it back again. And that's the type of thing that will come and go during a game.
Well, we've seen it happen. In Philadelphia, it happened. And he came back strong at the end of the game, as he did last week against the Giants. Quickly to McGee. Should be enough for a Ram first down. He's dragged down by Chet Brooks. 6-yard pickup.
And one of the things they were talking about wanting to do is not only have McGee in the backfield and check through, but work out, come in motion and work out, and really have your fullback, Buford McGee, end up out as a wide receiver, hoping to get that secondary spread out as they did.
Less than 5 minutes remain first half. 49ers leading 14-3. Counter play coming. Bell. Pick up a 4, stopped by Matt Millen.
Matt Millen might not get up. He gets the guy stopped, puts a marker there and says, hey, that's it. There's an amazing story. This guy, really? Matt Millen, has really helped this 49er team. He was waived by the Raiders, and he was going to sign with the Rams. The Rams were all set to sign him. He went to bed. He woke up the next day and said, no, I think I'll go listen to the 49ers. He came up, listened to the 49er offer, and has never gone back.
Not only a leader as a player, as you point out, also an emotional asset. Everett. To Buford McGee. A 4-yard pickup.
It was funny how Buford McGee was kind of a throw-in to the Rams. They got him from San Diego along with Pete Holohan. They just the Chargers kind of threw him in. Then the way they got Greg Bell, Buffalo just kind of threw him in. And these two guys are becoming big players for him. That time I think Buford McGee just landed on the ball.
In any case, he's down on the Rams side, 14-3.
Acadia, Denali, Banff. Every terrain is a challenge, and you're not planning to slow down. Not while there's so much more to see. Make your pastimes last a lifetime with Lincoln Financial.
I'm told about 60,000 for that basketball game. 3rd and 2 on the 49er 41. Del Pino goes in motion. Incomplete in the direction of Ellard.
Part of it is Jim Everett, who's a streak passer, being off his streak, and the other part is good defense. The 49ers are just getting Everett enough to throw that sink off, and the coverages are just taking away his men in his lanes.
John Taylor back deep.
And the thing they're probably deciding here is they want a defense in here that will be a safe defense. That will, if they're going to fake, will be ready to play defense instead of kick return. Receivers, and he's only completed 2.
3:16 left to play in the first half. Again, that was the score in the AFC Championship game. The Broncos at home beat the Browns 37-21. Matthews kick in the direction of Taylor. Fair catch at the 12. 28-yard punt by Dale Hatcher. 49ers lead it 14-3.
That's all the 49ers wanted to do was play that safe punt return. probably not believing that they're really going to punt it there, and if they're only going to punt it 28 yards, they just want to be solid and get the ball.
First and 10, San Francisco at their own 13.
This is where the Rams would love to force a turnover.
That's great. Wrapped up by the Rams after a gain of 2, led by Alvin Wright.
There's John Marshall. He's the defensive line coach of the 49ers. He's talking to those defensive linemen, and again, how to play the run, how to stay in your lanes, and how to continue to keep that pressure on Everett.
And so far, they've done a good job of that. Second down and 8 from the 15. Montana. A flag on the play. Intended for Taylor, or in the direction of Taylor. Jerry Gray was the Ram defender.
That was one of the things the 49ers were going to do. Joe Montana said is throw double patterns, like an in and up and out and up, a hook and go, and that's what he just threw to John Taylor.
Mark Bright officiating the NFC Championship.
Illegal contact foul, number 25, defense. Automatic first down.
I think John Taylor was going to give him a pattern. Watch John Taylor come off on Jerry Gray. Now, they called the penalty there. But see, that was going to be like an in and then go. There's Mike Peel. We saw his x-ray. We saw his elbow injury. And they've just taken him in the locker room.
First penalty of the day against the Rams. Montana on first down gets to Craig. And the Rams are there in a hurry. The first one, Larry Kelm.
You ever notice, Pat, the closer you get to the Super Bowl, the fewer penalties?
I think that's the 2-minute warning.
Bo knows football. Bo knows baseball.
Bo knows basketball, too.
Bo knows tennis?
No.
Bo knows race.
Bo, you don't know diddly.
With Asana, it's easy to monitor projects across teams and track status and progress at a glance, so you and your team can make smart decisions faster. Try it for free at asana.com.
Wow. Oh, you do know diddly, don't you?
Chet Brooks, that's not a bad idea. That guy's a hitting fool.
Here's Montana again going deep. This to Rice. Overthrown. Jerry Gray running with Rice. Montana, a typical day. 10 out of 12, 108 yards. The touchdown pass to Brent Jones.
I'll tell you one thing. He's going to be the quarterback because I don't know that I've ever seen anyone do it any better than this guy does it. And he just plays at a different level, another level, and he makes it look so easy. Like the rest of people, you struggle through life to do things, and this guy comes in and kind of makes a joke out of it.
He just sort of glides around and gets it done.
And even in practice, everything he does is like that.
3rd and 12. Ratman. He will get enough for a 49er first down. Leroy Irvin and Larry Kelm stopped him. Ratman, I think, took advantage of a pick.
Well, the 49ers do a lot of that, and they rub off the umpire a lot, too. The official standing behind the defense.
To Taylor. To the 40. Gain of 9. is still running, 1 minute and 20 seconds. 2nd and 1. To Mike Wilson. Out of bounds, and that will stop it. With 1 minute 11 seconds left to play in the first half. 7-yard pickup.
The other thing about Montana, this is his 11th year, and any situation that comes up, he's been there. And he's in a situation now, a 2-minute drill, although it's a 2-minute drill at the end of the half. He's been there so many times and been successful so many times that he just creates a feeling in the huddle that something good's going to happen.
Just radiates that confidence. Mike Sherrard. There's an interesting story. Broke his leg twice. The Cowboys sort of gave up on him, and now the 49ers are very high on this young man.
And he hasn't played in a couple of years. Last week was his first game. He didn't catch a pass. He said he's waiting for his first pass, and more important, that first hit. There he just got a little bump. But he said playing last week and dressing was like the first time he ever played football in his life.
2nd and 4. Montana to work again. Makes it to Ratman again. Strickland. Jerry Gray draped around him after a gain of 5. A timeout, 49ers. They have 1 left.
It was Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator. I remember last week he went off. The Rams got a turnover, and he wasn't there to call a play.
1st and 10. Roger Craig picks up 7 right up the middle. Clock continues to run. The 49ers have 1 timeout left.
Right now would be a 52-yard field goal.
2nd and 3. Sherrard again. Boy, nobody operates this 2-minute drill better than this guy either.
And so calmly.
So quickly. Out of bounds, incomplete, stops the clock.
You know, in that situation, you know, people always ask, why don't they play the whole game like that? And of course, you don't have a chance to get your guys in, and the coaches don't have a chance to call the plays, but when you have a guy like Montana, you probably could play the whole game like that.
Yep. Montana is 16 out of 19 for 165 yards and 1 touchdown. Here he is back to throw it again. It's Roger Craig. And he gets to about the 3. Stopped by James Washington, and they take their last timeout. 15-yard gain.
James Washington doesn't want to do something stupid here. You know, emotions are high, but you can't lose your cool. You have to compete until the whistle blows, but not after.
There's a flag on the play.
There's Roger Craig, and you see what they do is they just run down and sit down in those zones.
We have
they
a third timeout called by San Francisco. We have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 61, San Francisco, after the timeout was called.
Oh, that's Jesse Sapullo, the center. Look, there's Strickland there. He's getting a right hand in there. This is a pretty good brawl they had going there.
Serious.
Somewhere they're going to get number 61, Jesse. Jesse's just going down there to protect his guy, but that was a big play because the 49ers were in position where they could have run or passed to get in the end zone. Now they're back on the 14-yard line, or I guess it's the 18-yard line.
Right.
Now that has to be a passing play into the end zone because they've used all their timeouts. There's Mike Holmgren right there. This guy here, he's the offensive coordinator of the 49ers, and he's the guy that calls their play to a game of coordinator. And the coordinator is the guy that you have to defend now. The coordinator's the guy you have to attack.
First down. Back at the 18. Montana for the bundle to Taylor. Touchdown. Well, what a drive that was.
Hey, if they put a statue outside the candlestick of Joe Montana, I think everyone would just walk by it and bow their head right now. You don't get any better than that.
Taylor might have been shaken up a little bit on the touchdown catch, but now he seems to be okay.
Hey, he's starting to take his pants off.
That's not okay. 13 play. Gopher hits the extra point. The 49ers 21, the Rams 3.
Again, good pass protection. Now they give him lane. You see lane to throw it in where he can step up and throw and then find John Taylor down here. Taylor got inside of Leroy Irvin. Watch him. He had the ball up. He brought it down. And then he sees John Taylor wide open. Here's Taylor here. He's going to come up and run the post right in here. Irvin just hangs outside. The inside guy doesn't get over, and he's hit right in here with the ball by Joe Montana. We'll watch Taylor come. He's going straight up the field. Now he starts outside, then back inside. See that move he gave on Irvin? And then Montana popped him in that hole. Move. Taylor's explaining that now. I got him going to the inside, then I popped it back to the... I got him going to the outside, popped it back to the inside. Jesse Sapolo, thank you, John Taylor. Thank you, offensive line.
They put together that whole drive without one single pass to Jerry Rice. Over lines the kickoff down to Del Pino. Del Pino to midfield and into 49er territory. That's the last play of the first half. And that's the end of the first half. With the score, the 49ers 21, the Rams 3.
CBS Sports coverage of today's National Football Conference Championship game is sponsored by United Wit.
They would have reversed the ball there. He would have made the tackle. That's how good a play
right now. That's why it's not starting, but he has good reaction to the ball. Now watch what happens here. Number 22 picks this ball off, picks up a bevy of blockers along the far sideline, and sets up the 49ers for another scoring opportunity.
And you know, how about Joe Montana? Mike, it's 135 playoff passes without an interception.
It looked like a master surgeon operating in that last drive. I've never seen anything like it. The guy can do no wrong. He's got great receivers, but he gets the ball to them. He's the catalyst that makes it all work.
He's 3 playoff games a year ago, including a Super Bowl triumph. Last week the 4. Now he has come back with 2. I don't know if anybody can stop them, but I know one team that it may get a chance, and that's the Denver Broncos. Congratulations to that organization. We want to take a look at some of the action from the Denver Bronco victory over the Cleveland Browns in the AFC Championship today. 37-21. John Elway with a huge day, and Michael Young with 73 yards for the score here. He caught 2 passes for 123 yards. Now, Cleveland did close back to within 3 in the third. Mel Bratton fumbling at the Denver 28-yard line. Felix right of the Browns returns it 27 yards to the 1-yard line, and from there the Browns struck. But then it was Elway again, with Bobby Humphrey out with an injury for Dan Reeves. In came Sammy Winder. 39 yards on the score here. He scored twice. Elway threw for 385 yards in that 37-21 win. And
yeah, it's hard not to. The guy is such a master of the offense, and he's doing an outstanding job here, just taking what defenses give him, plays real cool, and
he's a guy to look up to.
Yeah. Coming into the locker room in this tunnel early, the 49ers were talking about two things. Let's get that fourth ring, but they were also talking about, hey, remember that Monday night game? The Rams had a big lead on the 49ers, and the 49ers came back and beat them in that game, so they're very, very concerned about that. From the offensive standpoint, the 49ers are worried about the blitz. The Rams have to start taking chances and make something happen. Now to Will McDonough at the Rams locker room.
Thanks very much, Randy. We had a chance to talk to Fritz Sherman, the defensive coordinator of the Rams, before he went into the room, and he said that
he is the best quarterback of all time. And the interesting thing, the Rams have really done a lot of the things that they wanted to do, but Montana's still beating them. You know, like they wanted to get in the lanes, make them get the ball up, and then bring the ball down and back. And he's doing that. He's having it up, he's bringing it down, and then he's going. And just look what he's done.
Well, here in the first half, 18 out of 21 for 198 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He distributed it to his wide receivers, his running backs, and his tight ends. But he's thrown the ball in that half. He's thrown it to 7 different defensive guys. Now, if you're the Rams defensive staff, what do? Do you say, we got to stop this guy, we got to stop that guy, we got to do this? And when they hit you with 7 different guys and Joe Montana, I tell you, I don't know what you do except that you have to match him on offense with your offense.
You've known, John.
And we're going to have to do it now.
Okay, CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Play until I win the Mazda Miata, because I need a girl, and girls like cars. If you need a date, then play The Price is Right at McDonald's and Ralph's. Oh.
Second half coming up at Candlestick Park. Beautiful area. Been raining all week, but today we've been blessed. It's cool and pleasant. 49ers set to kick it off, leading 21-3. Pat Summerall with John Madden. Brown and Del Pino. Roger Craig. Stretching. Loper's kick sails about 8 yards deep into the end zone. Handled by Del Pino. Redowns it. And the Rams will take over at their own 20.
And they have to get something going now and get a streak, get a hot streak, but also knit some things together with the running game. You know, in the first half, we know what Everett's stats are. We saw those, but they have yet to get a rushing first down. So the rushing first downs are the things that keep drives alive and together.
And they've got to play better defense. Montana has just cut them apart. Here's Everett back. Under pressure. Got the ball up the middle to Greg Bell. Haley, Walter, and Hope.
Notice how that pressure changes when you're down, and they know that they have to pass, and now look at the 49ers come. When Jim Everett throws the ball, there's 3 red jerseys on him. I'll tell you, that will take a lot of confidence out of a quarterback.
2nd and 5 it brings up from the 25. 2 tight end offense this time for the Rams. No game by Tina Turner.
The place that they do the job is in the middle here. Watch Pete Kugler. If the nose tackle 67 can take on that block and not get knocked off the line of scrimmage, that takes away cutback lanes. You see what happened? Because they held the middle, now the cutback starts, and all they do is run into a wall.
And it makes it 3rd and 5. Rams at their own 25. Here's Everett back to throw. Again, under pressure, intended for Anderson. Underthrown, and Everett's knocked down. Kevin Fagan this time.
That is not the type of start that the Rams were talking about at halftime. Watch Fagan and Haley are the pressure guys. There comes Fagan, and again, Haley is right there. And that's what you want to do to a quarterback. Hit him just as he throws the ball. Then he can't step up. I tell you, that takes a lot of that confidence I was talking about. That you can knock it out of a quarterback like that.
Hatcher back to punt. John Taylor back deep for the 49ers. A couple of good blocks, but their flags flying everywhere. Taylor down inside the rim, 40. Del Pino knocked him down, but penalties on the play.
I think it's going to be about against Wesley Walls, number 89 of the 49ers. I saw it coming all the way.
Yep.
He just couldn't stop himself. It was coming one way, and Walls is going the other way, and you just can't pull off. And what he was saying is that he hit the guy in front. And I don't know that that's the thing. It was right there where he made contact with him. He sure knocked the guy down.
We're at their own 28-yard line. First and 10. To Craig. Out of bounds. A pickup of 9 yards. Guy McIntyre with a devastating block in front of Craig.
Guy McIntyre is one of the best pulling guards in the game. You know, he's not a big guy. I mean, he's not the type of guard that you think of, a big old heavy guard. But watch number 62, McIntyre. He can run like a running back, and he can get out in the open field and stretch out. And you see him stretch and just hit Leroy Irvin, boom, get him going backward.
Second and 1, and Craig will get the first down. Michael Stewart made the stop. 3-yard gain for Roger Craig.
You know what the 49ers have been able to do? They've been able to, again, knit their drives together with a running game. And I think that, you know, they have everything going. We see George Seifert, he gets a play from Mike Holmgren. And they send it into Joe Montana. But they've had great mixture today.
Montana to Rice on first down. Gray is out there with him. The book on Montana's success.
Well, you know what he does? All his passes are the short ones. 49ers at catching the ball and becoming runners instantly. Probably better at that than anyone else in the game. I think they're also a little quicker, getting off first than anyone else in the game.
They almost look like the film is speeded up when you watch it. Nothing there for Craig this time. Brett Strickland stopped him after a gain of 1.
You're Roger Craig. He looks like a warrior. He's running right out of his socks. He's in the process of running out of his socks. His socks started up by his knees. Look, the right one's still up there. The left one's at half mast. And if he keeps going like this in this kind of day, he's gonna run right out of it.
3rd and 5. The 49ers pretty much doing what they set out to do. They've run it 20 times, and they've thrown it 22 times. From Montana, first down.
And, you know, he just moves the ball around, you know, just like a basketball team. I mean, he's throwing it to everyone. Look, Jones has caught 4, Taylor 3, Rathman 4, Rice 3, Craig 2, Sherrard 2, and Wilson 1. I mean, as I said, it's not one guy. That's 7 different guys he's thrown the ball to. So you put it over on defense, you say, how do you cover these guys?
It's almost impossible.
This is Mike Holmgren. He was the guy behind the post. He's the guy that's calling that mixture.
Craig spun out of bounds by Washington, but near another first down.
Hey, you wonder, you look at Joe Montana and his eyes and the way he feels about this game, you wonder if just inside he's just kind of not giggling a little. You know, that there's something about this game, this championship game, that is too easy. I mean, you never admit to that. You never admit you're giggling in a championship game, but somewhere where you got someone up against the ropes and it's your day and your game.
2 tight ends for the 49ers. Roger Craig, the lone setback. Craig has got the first down. Larry Helm stopped it.
Yeah, Yeah, this guy can do a lot of things. Watch the block here by Jamie Williams, number 81. He's going to help. Bubba Parra starts to the inside. He keeps the outside guy from getting in there. He keeps that linebacker from penetrating. The linebacker's trying to get to the inside. He keeps him out there. Hey, Jamie Williams, they picked him up as a Plan B player from Houston, and he's a good blocking tight end.
This time it's Rathman. And he hammers inside the 20. Knocked out of bounds finally by Jerry Gray, but a 17-yard run. And a good block by Bubba Parra.
I think Roger Craig on that play before may have gotten knocked out. He looked like a fighter who just took a punch. I tell you, but then you get him out of there, and here comes Tom Rathman. You see who was down there blocking for him? Jerry Rice. Any long run, there'll be a wide receiver who makes a block.
Still talking to Roger Craig on the 49er bench.
I think he got dinged on that short yardage play.
Henderson has taken his place. And he gets the carry. To about the 15. Being perhaps a 1. Sean Smith.
We got it going down in there now. I mean, we got, you don't get a lot of games with that artificial turf and stuff. You don't get a lot of games with mud. But now we got it. But isn't it something? There's 4 teams in the championship games today. All of them are from turf fields, grass fields, regular old-fashioned grass. No domes, none of that stuff.
Cleveland, Denver, the Rams, and the 49ers. 2nd and 9.
Play it the way they're supposed to play it.
The Broncos are already in the Super Bowl. The winner of this one will play them. Montana. He gets out of bounds at about the 11. Picked up 4 yards.
There he is laughing. He's saying, I did it like Randall Cunningham. I did a pump fake to make the guy miss. That was a bootleg. He just didn't have anything open. A bootleg is where the quarterback fakes a run and then puts the ball on his hip and runs the other way. That was a quick bootleg, but watch his pump fake on Kevin Green. He got him to get away enough so he could step out of bounds.
3rd and 5. 49ers on the Ram, 11-yard line. Montana in the direction of Rice, incomplete.
I think one thing, you have to give this 49er offensive line a lot of credit for their pass protection today, because Montana has been able to have the ball up there, bring it down, and get it up again a number of times. And this group has done an excellent job of pass protection.
He's hit 21 out of 25. Hofer with held and holding from 28 yards away. It's good. The 49ers move further in front. With 7:44 left, third quarter. It's 24-3.
Yep, right. You can get the red beans and rice warmed up now. You can't beat that. You can't beat red beans and rice.
No, you can't.
Well, gumbo, jambalaya, you got all that stuff. Yeah, they just said that Roger Craig had a concussion, and that was that short yardage play.
Going to be Del Pino at about the 3. Cut down at the 15 by Keith Henderson. The 49er is Henderson, who made the stop. (24-3), the 49ers. Here's what happened to Henderson, number 30.
Well, you see, it looked like maybe something hit his ribs, because watch, he starts to get up and celebrate, and then boom, he feels it right there and goes back down.
But he did get up and walk off the field. To McGee from Everett. Stopped by Michael Walter.
Yeah, there's a couple areas on this 49er defense that really don't get a lot of credit for what they do. One is their defense, and it seems like it's all offense, but these guys here do an excellent job of tackling, covering, playing the run, the pass, and when the 49ers do well, they play good defense.
On first down, here's Everett. That's picked off by Ronnie Lott. Lott back to the Ram, 36. Greg Bell made the stop for the Ram. Holohan was the intended receiver.
Ronnie Lott said he was going to just play pass in this game. Watch him 42. He's watching Pete Holohan all the way. Holohan is coming in on the post. Everett's trying to throw him out there. Ronnie Lott gets the read and the jump and the ball. Watch Ronnie Lott. This is how you play free safety. This is how you read a pass pattern. This is how you read a quarterback. This is how you intercept the ball. That's his third interception.
Third interception of the day for Jim Everett. That's Craig back in the game. Washington and Wiltshire on the stop. For those of you expecting to see 60 Minutes, I'm Pat Summerall along with John Madden. And we welcome you to Candlestick Park in San Francisco on CBS down in about a yard. Craig again. The Rams scored first. Field goal in the AFC Championship game today in Denver. The Broncos beat Cleveland 37-21. Looks like it'll be Denver and San Francisco. Craig, and he's going to throw it. Maybe. Yes. Incomplete. And a penalty marker down. Rathman caught it.
I wonder if they're going to say that Roger Craig was in the grass. Larry Kelm had him. They really don't have a rule for a running back being in the grass. It can't be in the grass. It has to be the whistle blew before he threw it. That was a run pass. They're going to hand it to Craig, and he is going to throw to Rathman. Now watch him. He starts out here like a sweep. He's looking for 44, Tom Rathman. He pumps. He brings it down. Now, they're going to say that he was in the grass, but he threw the ball. There is no in the grass rule. What that has to be...
33 was ruled down in this spot. There's no foul in the play.
That's what it has to be. It had to be that they blew the whistle.
The play due to the runner being ruled down.
Did he blow the whistle? The whistle ends the play. That's how you would rule it down. I don't know that I heard a whistle or not.
I don't think I did. And neither knee was down.
No, and they don't have any rule for in the grasp of a running back. And again, the only thing that would stop that play would be the whistle.
They're back at the 31. Montana to Rathman. Down to about the 26-yard line. It's tripped up by Kevin Greed.
Tom Rathman's getting to be more and more a part of this offense. They have a deal. Used to be that Rathman would always block for Craig. Of course, they're both from Nebraska. And then in practice, Roger Craig would carry Tom Rathman off the field, piggyback. He would give him rides off the field. And I think now Rathman's starting to get the ball more and more, so I don't know that Craig has to do that anymore.
Notice Rathman had Huskers, the Cornhuskers on his helmet. Third down at 9 at the 25. To Rice. It was slipped down and went down in the grass for Fred Strickland. Pick up a 4.
Fred Shermer trying to come up with anything to stop this avalanche. Just Keith Henderson, he was the player that was injured on that special teams tackle. Like he made a hit and then went down when he started to react. Whatever it was, didn't hit him until after a couple seconds.
All the 49er coaches say that they think he's going to be a great player.
Well, he's a heck of a receiver coming out of the backfield.
38 yards away. Over with plenty of distance. No good. So with 4 minutes, 3 seconds remaining in the third quarter, it's still the 49ers 24, the Rams 3. The 49ers 24, the Rams 3. The owner of the Rams, Georgia Frontiere. They have not been able to get anything going today.
Hey, that 49er defense led by Ronnie Lott have had a heck of a lot to say about that, too.
Really have. There's Everett back to throw it. Looking. Just out of bounds. Threw it away.
Now what's happening, these guys have been putting the blanket on, and you start the thing here, it starts with pressure. There's Pierce Holt, 78. He's starting to the inside, taking on 2 or 3 blockers, and then you bring Kugler, your nose tackle, to the outside. And they just keep working to get to Everett.
This time of possession, 49ers have had the ball 26 minutes. Rams just 15. Everett backpedals again. Out to Bell, incomplete. Well, the story of the game has been, as John Madden was talking about, been a frustrating day for Jim Everett and a fantastic day for Joe Montana.
See, Notre Dame, a lot from USC. The National Football League.
3rd and 10. There is no target, and Everett goes down.
I'll tell you, Everett felt the bullet when there was no bullets.
Haley and Roberts were close. Loss of 6.
I don't know that I've ever seen a quarterback get knocked down when there was no contact. I mean, he's there. There may be someone. You should not feel that. I don't care. In this game, you got to keep that head up, keep working to find it or run it. You should not feel a guy behind you.
Hatcher back standing on his own goal line, and John Taylor at midfield from the 49ers. The 49ers will take over almost at midfield. 45 yards punt by Hatcher. 3:22 remain third quarter. 24-3, the 49ers lead the Rams. The NFC Championship game. Winner to advance to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks.
Notice it, Bubba, that those 7s are getting smaller on his jersey.
Bill Walsh was always on Bubba about his weight. Now they just decided to leave him alone. Larry Kelm wrapped him up.
Do a Super Bowl again. Jackie Slater, a 14-year veteran. One of the top offensive linemen, not only in the game today, but that's ever played the game.
Second down and 4. 49ers at the Ram 45, leading already 24-3. That's Roger Craig. First down, San Francisco.
Now there is a pair to draw to. Watch that. Jim Burt and Pierce Holt are practicing during the game. Burt is coaching Holt how to make a spin move. Now, if there's anything, if a coach saw that, they'd go nuts. As a defense, Burt is following up Holt. You shouldn't do that. You don't want your guys to spin. Poor old Pierce Holt. Anyway, he's blind in his left eye, and now Jim Burt has him spinning. Oh, man. I'll tell you, John Marshall's going to go nuts when he hears about that.
That's funny. Here's Craig again. Rice got a good block in front of him. And Craig goes down inside the 30. Stopped again by Kell. Gain of 11.
Again, he's a sculpted warrior. He's running right out of those socks. They're getting lower and lower. Harris Barton, number 79, he's a right tackle. He pulls and gets in front of him. He just gets a little bump out here at the end, but there's no Rams until he gets there, and they didn't need much blocking. They have beaten this Ram defense down.
Talk about intensity. You see those eyes? Inside the Ram 25. Stopped again by Kelm and an assist to Sean Miller. They had to play an extra game. They had to go back to the East Coast 3 times, and it has to take its toll.
I think it finally caught up with them today. I think part of that and part of the 49ers being almost perfect.
Stopped by Stewart and Washington, and Rathman is a load. 6-yard gain.
Everyone knows that. You don't have to wait to see the film. You know the respect that players have for each other. When linemen see a back like Rathman work like he works and take on tacklers like that, they respect that. That makes him one of them.
Brings up 3rd and 2 from the 19. On what will probably be the last play of the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 2. Craig lunges and might have gotten it. That is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The 49ers 24, the Rams 3. We now pause for a word from your local station. The Goodyear blimp Columbia from Carson, California, piloted today by John Creighton. Goodyear has built over 300 blimps since 1929. Looking down at Candlestick Park. Sold out, as you would expect. Kofor to try a field goal from 35 yards out. And that one is good. The 49ers move out to a 27-3 lead. Just beginning the 4th quarter. This man's team just hasn't had the ball much.
And I'll tell you, that man, no, he'll coach it right down to the end. There's not a heck of a lot of coaching you can do when you have things like this happen to you, but he's going to coach this 4th quarter like he's never coached any other 4th quarter in his life.
Kezar before they came here. Bruce Colley.
There's one of those guys that has done an outstanding job in there and that offensive line of blocking this Ram defense. When you see a defense and they have a lot of mud and dirt on their backs, they've had a bad day.
Well, there's your evidence.
A defense should have clean backs after a game.
Over's kickoff. Going to be Ron Brown at about the 8. Out to the 36 where the Rams will take over after that 27-yard return. Stopped by Hendrickson.
Yeah, one of the things that Eddie DeBartolo did so well was when this team needed players, he brought in a Matt Millen, who was a guy who has been there, who had been to a couple Super Bowl with the Raiders. He brought in a Jim Burt, high-salary guys who have been to Super Bowl, but they were able to play and bring an intensity and not have a level drop on the defense.
Everett, Miller. Outside the 40, play to about the 43. Stopped by Darrell Pollard. 6-yard gain.
When you're down 27-3, it's time for that no-huddle offense. Get into your 2 minutes with 14 minutes to go.
Green pass to Buford McGee. He will not get the first down. The first man there was Matt Millen.
Matt Millen is a guy that studies this game, but he loves to play it. I mean, he's a guy that's been around enough 10 years in the league and still plays it like a little kid.
3rd and 2. Everett to Holohan. You have to have good hands, as Holohan does, to make that catch.
Yeah, the interesting thing, when Joe Montana was the starting quarterback at Notre Dame, the 11th string quarterback was Pete Holohan.
Everett, no place to go. Buford McGee was the intended receiver. Kevin Fagan put the pressure finally on Everett.
I'll tell you, they knocked that confidence right out of Everett today, didn't they? He started off the game, and of course, you know, it's a lot to do with their defense. They just didn't get anyone open. I mean, he's been getting rushed, he's been getting knocked down, and that time he had good pass protection, and the coverage was too good.
One of the big plays early was when Clipper Anderson was open on that big reverse, and Ronnie Lott came out of nowhere to knock it down.
I think after that, the Rams started downhill and haven't stopped.
Everett for Anderson. Again, nothing there.
Watch Pierce hold out here. And he's rushing against Jackie Slater. Now that's a real matchup. And he gets that rip, and he gets that arm, and he goes to the outside and comes back inside. I'll tell you one thing, I'm glad he didn't spin like Jim Burt was trying to teach him to. But see, he has to wear that mask over his eyes because he's blind in the left eye, and he had to sign a waiver when he first signed with the 49ers against that right eye.
He is quite a story. Everett. Batted down. Daniel Stubbs got the hand on it. And the crowd stands for the defense. Hatcher back to run it. John Taylor back deep at the 15-yard line for the 49ers. Almost blocked. Fair catch at about the 18 where the 49ers will take over. 13 minutes, 13 seconds left to play, and the 49ers up 27-3. The NFC Championship game at Candlestick Park.
Look at Alfred Jackson, Pat, number 31. He's the cover guy, and when you're getting beaten, you get beat on every level and every way.
Even your photographers
double team you.
Gets the carry over the left side. Doesn't get much. Perhaps a yard. Sean Miller made the stop.
And that defense has gotten pushed around there today by this 49er offense and this 49er offensive line. This isn't one of the plays. That is good Ram defense there. But the 49er offense in the first 3 quarters have beaten the Ram defense about every way you can.
Brings up 2nd and 9. Montana is going to throw. He does to Rattman. Got by Kell.
Now now Jim Burt is talking to John Marshall, the defensive line coach, and I think Marshall's trying to get out of the way. Bert will talk to anyone and coach anyone and do anything during a game. And
For the 49ers at the 25. And in control of things. 27-3. To Rice. Dragged down by James Washington. 4 or 5. Excuse me.
I was just saying, Jerry Rice lost 15 pounds this year, and I thought that was impossible. I looked at him last year and didn't think there was any place that he could lose 15 pounds.
He was already skinny.
Yeah, and he feels that loss of 15 pounds hasn't really made him faster, but it's made him quicker, being able to avoid defenders better.
Maybe made him a better runner after he catches it. First down, 49.
This is what it's like for a nose tackle in there. You get hit by the center, who's big and strong himself, Jesse Sapolo, and then you get help. You start off with a double team. That's the way things start, and it doesn't get any better. Poor Alvin Wright never got off the line of scrimmage.
Yelling going on. Montana looked left, throws to right. Yes, sir. Rule to catch.
Now, there aren't many quarterbacks that could ever do that. I don't care. When you go back, Joe Montana went back, looked to the left. He was going to throw to the left before this. Then went from the outside to the left, came all the way back and found Jerry Rice way over on the outside of the right. That is using the whole width of the field.
Rice did a heck of a job to get his feet down in bounds. Another first down for the 49ers. Rice has caught 6 passes now. Craig hammers into Ram territory. He's knocked down by Kilm. Picked up 5.
Hey, Roger Craig is a real warrior. Just watch this, the way he gets the ball. Now he sees his 2 pulling linemen and his fullback Rathman. That's like having 3 guards out in front. Now you read those 3, get in behind them, and now get right there and make your split between them and finish off your run. No one at reading, cutting, and finishing off better than Roger Craig.
Second and 5. He's to the Ram 35 before Michael Stewart brings him down, a gain of 13 yards. Ratman. He and Craig both have had good days.
Watch Matt Millen. This is a defensive guy. Defensive guys love it when offensive guys control the ball by running it. Especially when it's a guy like Tom Rathman who looks like one of them. And Robinson's still coaching. I told you he would. He's still coaching. He's telling the guys to use your hands and get rid of those blockers.
Montana to Terrence Flagler. Flagler to about the 24, tripped up by Washington. 12-yard gain. That's the 49ers' 28th first down, which is a record in postseason play.
Terrence Flagler has been somewhat frustrated because he wants to play more, and he's a good player. He was the #1 draft choice, but how can you play more when you have Roger Craig and Tom Rathman? Who do you take out?
Who do you sit down?
Put Terrence Flagler in.
First down, 49ers at the Ram 23. Rathman and Flagler now the 2 runners. This is Terrence Flagler. Almost beheaded by Michael Stewart.
Hey, that's what you do. When they start running, you get your 8-man front. The way you get an 8-man front is by putting your safety up there. So you have your 7 front guys plus your safety. And that's what Michael Stewart is. That's like giving you another linebacker And when you can't stop the run, you bring your safety up there. Now you got 8. Now they can't run anymore.
Second down and about 14. 49ers at the Ram 27. Already lead 27-3. Now there are just 8 minutes left to play. To about the 14. Again, stopped by Stewart.
You know, it's getting to be a big thing, Pat, in his footballs. Now they have the screens at the stadiums, so now the players are starting to watch the replay on the screens.
Bratman down after that last play, a gain of 12.
There was something that he's the lead guy here, and they're sneaking him out, and he becomes a pass receiver here. And it's something that happens right at the end of the run after he catches the ball. I don't think it's that first hit there. I think it's when his head hit the ground. Watch him, he takes a whack, but watch when his head hits the turf.
And he landed on top of the ball also.
Four-wheel drive, 4-door, 4Runner for 1990. Space, luxury, and V6 power. Where you go is your concern. Getting you back is ours.
Why are these men smiling? 'Cause the Lakers passed the Pistons. The Knicks face the Bulls. It doesn't get any better than this.
Bratman, who got the wind knocked out of him, it appears, on that play, the last play. And now seems okay. But he took up a lot of turf.
That's a shot of a football player.
Flagler cuts inside one block. Has got a first down. Inside the 10.
Joe Montana's going up to break up a fight. I can't believe it. They're starting a fight between two linemen, and Montana runs up there and get in the middle of it. A lot of people don't even think Montana should be in the game now, 27-3. Although I believe you should. I believe you have a game, it's a championship game, there's only one way to play. You don't worry about getting guys hurt. You go out and play it, and you finish it off.
Montana has had some day. 26 out of 30, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns. Doesn't get much better. First and goal at the 8. Flagler again. To about the 4, taken down by Stewart. Gain of 3.
I think once you're going to the Super Bowl and you know that, you want to play. Once you've worked hard all day to get the other team in this position, you want to be in there, you want to stay in there. You got 2 weeks between now and the Super Bowl, and football to great players is always fun. But when you get in this situation, I'll guarantee it's the most fun.
It's the NFC Championship game with the 49ers, the Super Bowl champions, trying to repeat. Flagler to about the 1, stopped by Alvin Wright. By the way, they set a new attendance record here today. Here at Candlestick, 64,769.
Watch this team, this 49er team, and what they've done today to the Rams, what they did last week to the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know that this isn't one of the best teams ever.
Oh, I agree with you. They've got so many weapons. Flagler. Take it down behind the line by Brett Fairney. The field goal unit.
Here's a guy who's done an amazing job, and you talk about guys that are going to coach until the game's over. You have that type of coach on both sides. George Seifert and John Robinson, they go way back. George Seifert is from this area. George Seifert is a local guy, went to high school here. George Seifert and John Robinson coached together at the University of Oregon.
25 yards away. Cofer's kick is good, but I think the Rams were offside. It would still be 4th down.
You say it's against the Rams. Go. You say they couldn't get a first down anyway.
Offside. Defense. Left side of the line. Penalty is declined. Field goal is good. Timeout.
49ers lead it now 30-3.
Into their personal aerial ballet. Like no players before or perhaps ever again, Rice and Montana teamed to turn the tide of one of the closest Super Bowls ever played. When time ticked off the clock, the record book showed that Joe and Jerry had combined for 11 completions, 215 yards, and victory. Together, they made each other the best they could be.
Enemy in the open. We're going to play right, Bravo 2.
NFC Championship looks like it's going to belong again to the San Francisco 49ers.
Right there's Eddie DeBartolo. He's the man in the circle right now, and I'll tell you, he's the guy that after they've won a Super Bowl, by taking care of his guys, by getting them signed, by not being afraid to go out and get a Matt Millen, a Jim Burt, sign a Sherrard to a lot of money with 2 broken legs, doing those types of things, he helped get this team back to where they are.
This will be Del Pino from the 4-yard line. Steve Hendrickson. Stop Del Pino. There's George Seifert. What a job he's done in his first year.
Well, you know, he'll be, the 3rd first-year coach to ever go to a Super Bowl. Only one time as a first-year coach won a Super Bowl. It was Don McCafferty when he was at Baltimore. Oh, look at this. Winning his first-year coaches. The only thing is, Seifert's going to a Super Bowl. Red Miller went to a Super Bowl. The second guy didn't.
Eller got a flag on the play. Eller's pass from Everett. Chet Brooks brought him down. Flag on the play.
Number 84, offense. First down.
And they beat the Dallas Cowboys. And then Red Miller went, of course, that was when Denver, as a coach of Denver, and they lost to Dallas. There's some happy guys. I mean, you see that Roger Craig down there in Rathman? They look like 2 guys who have really been through a good old-fashioned football game. You know, not one of these things they play in domes or in sushi bars, but I mean a real old-fashioned hitting and stuff game.
1st and 20. Everett. Buford McGee was the intended receiver. Heat was put on by Larry Roberts.
We were talking to Jackie Slater last night about Larry Roberts, and he said he's put on like 20 or 25 pounds of all muscle. He said that's all muscle, and he's gotten to be a lot stronger guy and a better power rusher. I don't know that that's all muscle.
I don't know if I buy that entirely. Holohan, after a gain of 4, paid the price, hit by McKyer.
There's Jerry Rice. It looks like that eye's okay that was giving him problems early.
The happy face, I know that. 3rd down. Everett Davis. Chet Brooks back there with Cooper Anderson. It's incomplete.
There's a guy, George Seifert was saying maybe the most improved guy in the team is Chet Brooks. There's a guy like having another linebacker out there. He loves to hit. I think Chet Brooks is going to be in the All-Madden team. That guy there was last year. Wallace was on the All-Madden team a year ago.
I think one of the rules that a lot of people don't understand about the All-Madden team is that you have to have seen them during the course of the year. Almost blocked. Maybe deflected.
Look at Chet Brooks. He's there. He's talking about Jeff Fuller. He wears Jeff Fuller's name on his thing. Jeff Fuller was the guy that he replaced, who was the strong safety.
Back to the All-Madden team. When is it going to be announced?
Well, the
coordinating producer of the NFL on CBS is Charles H. Milton III. This game produced by Bob Stinner, directed by Sandy Grossman. The NFL Today produced by Eric Mann, directed by Duke Strutt. Senior producer David Winter, and the executive producer of CBS Sports, Ted Shaker. Second down for the 49ers. 3.5 minutes left to play. They lead 30-3. Flagler again with nothing there.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Yep, see you in New Orleans. You know, it was interesting. We did a thing on the 49ers early, and I remember Ronnie Lott saying at that time that what we would like to do is get back to the Super Bowl again, and we'd like to approach this year like the Los Angeles Lakers. I think it was interesting seeing Magic Johnson walk off the field when he didn't say like the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Miami Dolphins. He said, we would like to be the Lakers of the NFL. You know, say you're going to win it again. Say you're going. Don't be afraid to say it.
Here's Young back to throw. Jamie Williams made the catch. Stopped by Mel Owens. This telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the San Francisco 49ers and the National Football League is prohibited. There's Eddie DeBartolo.
He looks like he's giving out towels. I mean, the more things you can do as an owner, the better you are. The longer you're going to stay around, you don't have to hire guys. Eddie's there handing out towels for the guys when they come in. That's good.
A 2-minute warning. In the NFC Championship game at Candlestick, with the 49ers ahead 30-3. And you'll be cruising to New Orleans.
Yep, I'm starting out Tuesday. Pew! Just like that. The Broncos, they'll be going, and then the 49ers will be going. Everything's right. It's a Super Bowl. It's in New Orleans. It's January 28th. The only thing is, it's a full day of football, and it's going to start at 3 p.m. I'll tell you, that is something we look forward to all year.
And it's all going to be on CBS.
Everyone goes, they want to get to the Super Bowl, be in the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl, and this is it in 2 weeks.
Leroy Irvin will let the ball bounce in front of him. And the Rams have one more chance, perhaps. With 1 minute and 51 seconds remaining, they'll take over there. I think the Rams just finally ran out of gas.
They did, and they were valiant. I mean, they did it the tough way. They went back and beat New England, and they went back and they beat the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia, and they beat the Giants in New York in an overtime game. And then at some point, you just don't have that much gas in your tank. But the other thing is, they ran into a team with red jerseys that could be one of the all-time great teams.
Cleveland Gary, who loses the handle. The ball belongs to the Rams.
Well, he hit the official there, number 103, ran into him. This is frustration now. It was Duval Love, number 67. He was just going to get someone. See, Cleveland Gary, though, ran into the umpire. Watch the umpire back there in the black hat right there. He's trying to get out of the way. It looked like the umpire knocked the ball out of Gary's hands.
Henry Ellard made the recovery. Uh-oh.
Oh, Seifert getting the old bucket trick. Bubba Parrish. No, he doesn't know it. He won't. He's a first round guy. Oh, I got him.
Don't forget to stick with us for the post-game show. Interviews in both locker rooms.
And they're going to interview a winning coach.
Dan Reeves will be live from Denver. All the NFC Championship Trophy presentation. Is this any fun?
There's no more fun than rolling in the mud. I'll guarantee if you're a football player, you've been out there pounding all day, then you can roll in the mud, you can't beat it.
Pass intended for Ellard, incomplete. 30-3. 49ers, clock stopped with 23 seconds remaining.
You know what's more fun than rolling in the mud, Pat, is sliding in it. Like if you can get a good run and dive and slide, that's more fun. Hey, it hasn't been a fun day for Jim ever. You know, we talked about streaks and getting in sync, and he just never got in sync and got one of those streaks going.
Hatcher's punt sails out of bounds. The 49ers have 18 seconds.
The 49ers have not defeated in the 1980s for the Denver Broncos. That's the least of the 49ers' worries right now. Bert saying, I'm going back to a Super Bowl.
And the Super Bowl he went to was, of course, as a member of the Giants, and they beat Denver.
Chet Brooks said, George Seifert, he's not watching the end of this game. He's going and starting the celebration.
Steve Young. For Gus Neal. That will do it for the 49ers. Score is the San Francisco 49ers 30, the Rams 3. Stay tuned next for the NFL Today postgame show, where we'll hear from both locker rooms and have the NFC Championship Trophy presentation. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
NFL Today post-game show is sponsored by Miller Lite. America's favorite light beer brings you the Miller Lite All-Star Super Bowl game.
Another classic performance by the San Francisco 49ers, and they head back to the Super Bowl. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brent Musburger. We should pass along some basic information. First of all, the Super Bowl in 2 weeks down in New Orleans. And the San Francisco 49ers have been established, according to Danny Sheridan, who will have the story of the USA tomorrow, as a 10-point favorite over the Denver Broncos. And why not, I guess. Let's bring in Mike Ditka and Dick Butkus now. And, Mike, I'll tell you, this was an old-fashioned beating that the 49ers handed out here today.
You know, we said earlier, Brent, that they were the best team in football, and I think they truly proved that today. Again, it's very easy to give all the praise to the offense, and their offense played an outstanding game, but the defense is what made it all happen early in the game when they kept the Rams out of the end zone, made them settle for 3, and then they just took the football game away from them after that. But I tell you what, as far as the 10-point spread is concerned, the Broncos are going to do darn well. Dan's going to have them ready to play.
Dick, were you surprised at how the Rams sort of came up flat here this afternoon?
Well, you know, we talked earlier about stopping the running game and not allow Montana to maintain possession because he's so skilled at finding people open. And that's what they just kept on running to their left, Rams' right side. And I think Mike was mentioning earlier that the outside receiver would come down and seal off, and they wanted Irwin to make the tackles, and he wasn't doing it.
Well, you know, Mike, you said early that the guy who was going to set the tone was Ronnie Lott, and he had another sensational big game for him.
Well, I think he's the best safety I've ever seen, Brent. I said that, and I like the way he plays. He seems to get everybody up to play football, and that's what this game's all about. If you can't play this game with emotion, don't show up.
All right. We're going to be right back, and more of our post-game show. We're going to go inside the winner's locker room, and we'll continue live in just a moment.
Will they win?
So the San Francisco 49ers head to their fourth Super Bowl since 1981 with another classic performance here, and Joe Montana now has gone 2 years and 5 playoff games without throwing a single interception. Let's go inside the winner's locker room, and here's Irv Cross. Irv?
Brent, nothing but smiles here, and you can imagine why, but let's get the business out of the way first to present the George S. Hallis Trophy to the newly crowned National Football Conference champions. We have Virginia Hallis McCaskey here and her husband, Ed.
This is the 6th presentation of the George Hallis Trophy. It's the 3rd presentation to the San Francisco 49ers and the first presentation to your rookie coach, George Seifert. Congratulations to all of you, and you especially, Eddie, on your fine organization and all your wonderful players. Good luck in 2 weeks.
Hey. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mrs. McCaskey. Thank you, Ed. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This belongs to George and the team. Guys, you deserve it.
Eddie, everybody, of course, talks about back-to-back Super Bowls. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers did it in '79 and '80. Your hopes, I guess, are to do it again.
Our hopes are just to play the type of game we can play, Irv, and these guys are capable of a lot of good things. I'm just really proud of the team.
I know you're highly superstitious. Did you have any kind of good luck charms hanging around you today?
George. he was the best luck charm I could have.
And the team. Thank you for this. Coach, to step in here, and congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Rookie head coach, winning your first conference championship on your way to the Super Bowl.
Well, we're excited. Well, we do. We've got an excellent football team. They played their hearts out against a very, very fine Ram team, and we're just prouder than heck of our players, and we're looking forward to the next ball game.
Well, Coach, you know, you're the first head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, who's a San Francisco native. Does winning here mean a little bit more to you, perhaps, than some other places?
I don't know if it means any more, but it certainly is sweet. There's no question about it. I'm sure it means a great deal to these players and to the rest of the coaches in our organization. I'm just proud to be part of it.
Well, again, the big question, back-to-back repeats in the Super Bowl. You had a lot of changes on the staff here. You're the new head coach. Bill Wall stepped down. The burden's on your shoulders now.
Well, the burden's on all of us, and we accept that, and we look forward to it.
All right, coaches, hang in here with us. In just a few minutes, we're going to have Brent Musburger come back to us after we get a hold of somebody in Denver who wants to talk to you. Brent?
All right, Irv, thank you very much, and let us bring in live the head coach of the Denver Broncos, Dan Reeves. Dan, congratulations on your victory today. You had to get yourself a little shooting match, didn't you, in that game?
Well, we did, Dick, and it was not something that was expected by me. I thought it was going to be a very tough defensive ball game, and, you know, it ended up being a big scoring match. But when John Elway makes the type of plays that he made today, anything's possible. I just thought it was a great team effort on our part because there was a lot of turning points. Momentum switched several times in the game. We're just glad to have the opportunity to go back and represent the American Football Conference.
Dan, I don't think too many football men really envy you in a couple of weeks. If George Seifert has a headset on inside that locker room, here's your chance, Dan. You're a 10-point underdog. Anything you want to ask Coach Seifert after that marvelous victory by the 49ers?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to congratulate George. What he's done this year is really amazing. He had a great football team, but to repeat is something that hasn't been easy to do in the National Football League through the years. And my congratulations to George. They've done a super job, and it's not very often that the two best teams during the regular season end up in the Super Bowl, and we had the best record, and they had the best record in the NFC, and so it's come down to a matchup. We will show up.
George, your thoughts about the Denver Broncos and Coach Reeves?
Well, again, just as Dan said, we'd like to congratulate Denver. I mean, they've been a great football team. We've had a heck of a rivalry with Denver over the years, despite the fact that we're not in the same league with them, and with John Elway and their fine offense and the defense, the way they're playing right now, I'm sure that we'll have our hands full in the ball game. Should be a great football game with the style of both of our teams, and we'd like to congratulate Denver because we know they had to beat a tough team, just as we had to beat a tough team today to get to this point.
Danny, let me ask you a question about the burden of the Broncos never having won a Super Bowl. How much pressure will the team feel now in getting ready for this one against San Francisco?
Well, certainly there's been a lot made out of the fact that we've lost 3 Super Bowls in Denver, and I haven't seen any of those fans that people keep talking about that don't want to go back and be embarrassed in the Super Bowl. I can promise you this, Dick, we will have, I think, a very good football team coming to play the 49ers. We've had some success against the 49ers over the last few years, and it's a tremendous challenge. I didn't see any weaknesses in watching the game today. They completely dominated both the Vikings and the Rams, and those are 2 great teams. So we got our work cut out for us, but we got 2 weeks to get ready for them, and we'll be ready once the Super Bowl rolls around.
All right, so congratulations to both coaches, and we'll see them in a couple of weeks down in New Orleans, and we'll come back in just a moment.
Draft beer taste? The world is a very cool place. So tap into the cold. Cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
Well, a gorgeous early evening shot of Candlestick Park. Let's go inside now and hear from some of the 49ers, and here's Irv.
Well, when you talk about the 49ers, of course, you talk about the Montana to Rice combination. Jerry, come on, get in here. But, Joe, right off the bat, you've just been red hot all season and continued right through the playoffs.
Well, the big thing there for us offensively was they were trying to take our underneath game away, so they were dropping a lot of people under the zones, and we just had to be a little choosy about where we were throwing the ball, and guys were finding holes for you, and I had plenty of time to throw the ball again this week, and a lot of credit has to go to those guys up front. They did it again.
You spread the ball around a lot. Jerry Rice, of course, made his normal catch, I guess, quarter, but you also hit Brent Jones on a touchdown pass.
Well, I think they blew a coverage there. They were looked like they were going to go into 2 deep zone, and then they rolled on both sides, and nobody covered him. Usually they run a backer with him down there, and they just let him go.
I'd like to see that now, I guess, right? Jerry, early in the game, you went out of the game with an injury to your eye. What happened?
Well, really, I got a hand across the face, and I lost my vision for a little while, but I kept working and got my way back into the football game.
Well, Joe, you've seen quite a bit of the Denver Broncos. What do you think of their defense?
Well, actually, I haven't seen much of them. We don't get a lot of their games out this way, unfortunately, and when we do, we're usually playing at that time. So, we really haven't seen much about them and heard a lot about them. But we'll get a good look at them in the next few weeks.
All right, indeed you will. Congratulations to both of you guys. See you at the Super Bowl.
All right. Brent. All right, Irv, thank you. Cute little story out of Las Vegas. The first bet, $100,000 on the 49ers. It's gone up to 10.5. And we'll come back in just a moment.
Last time they played, we did them here in preseason, and the thing I remember about that game, the Broncos came here, and they went in and got dressed, and someone stole John Elway's knee brace. So Dan Reeves says there's no way he's going to play without his knee brace.
What about the 2 quarterbacks, Elway and Montana? How do they compare, you think?
Well, I think that Joe Montana, I don't think anyone compares to him the way he's playing now. I mean, you would like to say that, there's a lot of guys on that same level. I don't believe that. But John Elway, again, is one of those one-man gangs. I mean, he has an arm that he ought to have a permit to carry that thing around. And when you have that type of gun going, and he is a guy that can win. And I'm sure that the 49ers have 2 weeks, and the thing they're going to worry about is John Elway.
Well, it should be very interesting. Thank you, John. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. And so in 2 weeks, we'll find out. A reminder, our coverage on Super Bowl.
Into the zone, it was a touch wide.